Not every success story has a happy ending, especially in Hollywood. Some of the brightest stars emerge from modest beginnings with inspiring rags-to-riches tales, only to eventually fall from grace. Whether due to struggles with addiction, mental health issues, or poor financial decisions, some famous celebrities have shockingly ended up homeless. While a few have managed to rebuild and make a comeback, others face tragic endings. Keep watching to find out which celebrities lost everything and ended up on the streets. Margot Kidder. Margot Kidder was a Hollywood icon, best known for her role as Lois Lane in the Superman films. Her fame extended to her personal life, as she had relationships with high-profile figures like Richard Pryor and Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau. So, it was a major shock when she was found wandering the streets, suffering from schizophrenia and severe depression. Kidder ended up sleeping in cardboard boxes and in backyards across Los Angeles, with many spotting her looking disheveled, missing her front teeth and with her hair chopped off. This homeless period followed a manic episode in 1996, and she was later found by family and authorities living behind bushes in Glendale, California. While on the streets, she would ask strangers for cigarettes, and some people even offered her a night at a motel. Eventually, she was placed in a private psychiatric clinic where she began treatment. Kidder went on to become an advocate for mental health, stating, "We are all a breath away from mental illness, homelessness, all these things we tend to look down on." Erin Moran. Erin Moran became a household name at the age of 14 for her role as Joni Cunningham on Happy Days. However, after squandering her wealth, she ended up broke and homeless. Moran faced financial ruin and had her California home foreclosed in 2010. She and her husband had to live with his elderly mother in a trailer in Indiana, but the situation quickly deteriorated. One night after a drinking binge, Moran had a confrontation with her mother-in-law, who then kicked her out. After that, she bounced between motels, unable to find a stable place to stay. Tragically, Moran passed away, having struggled with addiction, and was found dead from a heroin overdose. Dana Plato. Dana Plato, another child star, faced a turbulent life after her time on the sitcom Different Strokes. Her struggles with homelessness began after the show ended, and it wasn't long before she tragically passed away from a drug overdose. Plato had been just 14 when she starred on the hit sitcom, but behind the scenes, she was already battling drug addiction. As the show wrapped, she became embroiled in scandals, with legal issues such as forging prescriptions and robbing a video store. She also faced jail time and went through several rehabilitation programs. In 1999, Plato was found living in motels in Oklahoma. She claimed to be sober, but shortly after, she passed away from a drug overdose, with her death being ruled as a suicide. The day before her death, she appeared on The Howard Stern Show, openly discussing her struggles with alcoholism and addiction. Many callers insulted her, which might have pushed her to her breaking point. Lonnie Wilson. Lonnie Wilson, a once successful model, is now homeless on Venice Beach due to her struggles with drug addiction and mental health issues. She rose to fame as a fitness model and was frequently featured in magazines. Her career reached its peak when she married Jeremy Jackson, a star from Baywatch. However, her meth addiction and mental health struggles sent her into a downward spiral, and she eventually found herself living on the streets. Wilson has publicly blamed her ex-husband Jackson for her troubles, alleging a violent relationship where he once tried to strangle her. She also claims that she cannot live indoors due to a strange sensitivity to electricity, having been allegedly electrocuted every day for a year. Whether this is true or an excuse for her addiction is uncertain, but it highlights the complex issues she's faced. MC Hammer. MC Hammer, a hip-hop superstar, went from winning 3 Grammy Awards to losing everything and becoming homeless. In the 90s, he was a major force in the music scene with his catchy hits and signature moves like Hammer Time and his parachute pants. Hammer was everywhere, even in his own animated series, Hammerman. However, as music trends shifted and his popularity faded, he continued to live a lavish lifestyle. He spent millions on a 40,000-square-foot mansion, 17 cars, 2 helicopters, a private jet, and racehorses. Despite his declining fortunes, Hammer maintained a luxurious lifestyle and employed over 200 people. Eventually, he found himself $3 million in debt and owing over $800,000 in taxes. In the end, he sold his assets, but he managed to recover by downsizing, moving into a modest home, organizing concerts, and being more cautious with his spending and investments. Jan Michael Vincent, once a beloved Hollywood heartthrob, spiraled into homelessness due to a combination of substance abuse, violent behavior, and misfortune. Best known for his role in the hit TV show Airwolf, Vincent captivated audiences with his good looks and surfer physique. However, behind the scenes, his life was unraveling. Throughout the late 70s, he faced multiple arrests for cocaine possession, and during the mid-80s, he was also involved in bar fights and charged with felony assault and drunk driving. His addictions led to a string of devastating car accidents, one of which resulted in the amputation of his right leg. With his health deteriorating and career fading, Vincent lived in isolation in rural North Carolina and Mississippi before passing away at age 74. Leif Garrett rose to fame as a teen idol, but his fame was short-lived as drugs took over his life. He began using substances at just 14 years old. Before turning 18, he crashed his mother's Porsche while high, leaving his friend permanently paralyzed. The incident marked the beginning of a long battle with addiction. In 2001, he declared bankruptcy, listing only clothing, basic household items, and $350 in cash. His sole income was a $1,000 monthly allowance from his mother. With no home to call his own, Leif found himself bouncing between jail and rehab. His dire situation was later referenced by Sharon Osbourne, who remarked, "Leif is living under a bridge and saving a place for Justin Bieber." Mindy McCready had a promising career, but her life took a dark turn. The mother of two faced numerous personal struggles, including substance abuse and mental health issues. After a court ordered her into rehab, her boyfriend died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Just a month later, Mindy took her own life in the same location. Authorities discovered she had also shot and killed her dog before turning the gun on herself. One of the major triggers was learning that her children were going to be placed in the custody of her estranged mother. Her tragic story highlights how fame and mental illness can lead to devastating consequences. David Cassidy, former teen sensation. David Cassidy, known for The Partridge Family, eventually found himself in a downward spiral of alcoholism and financial troubles. Despite his early success, Cassidy's life was marred by DUI arrests in 2010, 2013, and 2014. Publicly admitting to his alcoholism, Cassidy's erratic behavior and legal woes continued to tarnish his legacy. As his fame faded, so did his fortune. He ended up homeless and struggling. His troubles included arrests for drug possession and soliciting prostitutes, and his personal life remained chaotic until the very end. Sugar Ray Williams. Even athletes aren't immune to financial collapse. Sugar Ray Williams, a former NBA captain of the New York Knicks, once enjoyed stardom and wealth, but by 2010 he was found living out of his Buick in Pompano Beach, Florida. Williams had played with the Celtics in the 1985 NBA Finals, yet found himself broke and homeless years later. Unlike many others, his downfall wasn't due to addiction. It was simply bad luck and poor post-retirement planning. He openly criticized the NBA for neglecting former players, stating, "Where's the loyalty and compassion for the ones who paved the way?" He passed away in 2013 from colon cancer. Bobby Driscoll. Once a Disney Child star and Academy Award winner for The Window, 1950, Bobby Driscoll's life ended in obscurity. Following a drug conviction and prison sentence, Driscoll struggled to reintegrate into society. Despite some minor acting roles, he never regained his former fame. Homeless and addicted, Driscoll was found dead in an abandoned New York building in 1968. His identity remained unknown for years, and he was buried in an unmarked grave on Hart Island. In a haunting interview, he once said, "I became a beatnik and a bum. I had no home." His death wasn't confirmed publicly until 1971. Iran the Blade. Barkley. Iran Barkley, a former boxing champion who earned over $5 million during his career, lost everything due to reckless spending and poor financial decisions. By 2010, he was homeless and sleeping on New York subway cars and in cheap motels. During his prime in the 80s and 90s, Barkley was a household name. But his decline was steep, ending in bankruptcy and isolation. After briefly living with his niece in public housing, he ended up back on the streets. Fortunately, with help from Bronxworks and the Ring 10 charity, Barkley turned things around. He eventually secured housing and began teaching boxing to underprivileged youth, finding new purpose in giving back. Natasha Lyonne. Natasha Lyonne was a major force in 1990s Hollywood, starring in cult favorites like But I'm a Cheerleader, Slums of Beverly Hills, and American Pie. However, her promising career took a downturn following legal troubles and battles with addiction. After being evicted from her apartment, she faced a period of homelessness. In 2001, she was arrested for a DUI and later checked into Beth Israel Hospital, where she received treatment for methadone dependence, a heart infection, hepatitis C, and a collapsed lung. Despite the hardships, Lyonne made a remarkable comeback. She earned acclaim for her role in Orange is the New Black and later co-created Russian Doll, which drew from her own life experiences. She also starred in the hit detective series Poker Face. Danny Bonaduce, known for The Partridge Family, endured a lifelong struggle with addiction. Despite early fame, substance abuse led him down a difficult road, including periods of homelessness. He frequently cycled through rehab as he attempted to stay sober. At one point, he was living in his car near the Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood, where he continued to greet fans and sign autographs, many unaware he was without a home. Reflecting on the surreal experience, he once said, "I was still famous, and people had no idea I lived behind the dumpster." Eventually, Bonaduce found stability, becoming a popular radio DJ in Seattle, though he later retired following health complications and brain surgery. Houston McTeer. Even Olympic-level athletes can hit rock bottom. Houston McTeer, once hailed as the fastest man alive, matched the world record for the 100-yard dash while still in high school. He overcame poverty in Florida, relocated to Los Angeles, and trained under legends like Muhammad Ali and Harold Smith. He graced the cover of Sports Illustrated in 1978 and qualified for the 1980 U.S. Olympic team, only to miss the Games due to the U.S. boycott. With his dreams dashed, McTeer turned to drugs and eventually became homeless, living on Santa Monica Beach for several years in the 1980s. He survived thanks to places like the Claire Foundation, a local mission. Eventually, he turned his life around and married fellow sprinter Linda Haglund. Brett Butler, who earned a Golden Globe nomination for her role in Grace Under Fire, faced a downward spiral due to substance abuse. During her show's run, she fought a recurring drug addiction, spending significant time in rehab. She later left Hollywood and relocated to a rural farm in Georgia, where she lived with 15 pets. But her financial situation deteriorated, eventually landing her in a homeless shelter. In recent years, Butler has been trying to mount a comeback, reportedly developing a reality show based on her psychic abilities while performing stand-up comedy in downtown Los Angeles. Willie Ames, best known for 8 is Enough and Charles in Charge, Willie Ames suffered a stunning fall from grace after financial ruin. Once earning over $1 million a year, Ames lost his career, savings, family, and home. He spent time sleeping in parking garages and public parks and even worked as a wilderness guide to get by. Reflecting on that time, he said, "I never dreamt it could happen that fast." Eventually, Ames got back on his feet. He became a licensed financial advisor and returned to acting and filmmaking, now splitting time between Vancouver and Los Angeles. Rocky Lockridge boxing champion Rocky Lockridge reached the top as a junior lightweight title holder. But following his retirement in 1992, he succumbed to addiction, which led to the loss of his family, fortune, and freedom. He served a prison sentence for burglary in 1997 and, upon release, lived on the streets of New Jersey for nearly a decade. A stroke left his body weakened, and years of substance abuse, combined with the physical toll of boxing, worsened his condition. Despite being a highly educated and successful athlete, Lockridge became a cautionary tale of the dangers of addiction and unmanaged health after fame fades. Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye, the iconic soul singer behind timeless tracks like What's Going On, Let's Get It On, and Sexual Healing, left an indelible mark on music. Yet, behind his artistic brilliance lay a deeply troubled personal life. Plagued by drug use, financial issues, and ongoing family conflict, especially with his father, Gaye often battled his own inner demons. Tragically, on April 1, 1984, just one day before his 45th birthday, he was shot and killed by his father during an argument. Though his life ended in heartbreak, Gaye's influence on music and social consciousness remains profound. Amanda Peterson. Amanda Peterson charmed audiences as Cindy Mancini in the 1987 teen classic Can't Buy Me Love, co-starring Patrick Dempsey. She quickly became a beloved figure in the 1980s pop culture scene. However, as her acting career faded, she withdrew from public life and struggled with addiction and mental health issues. Peterson died from an accidental drug overdose on July 3, 2015, just days shy of her 44th birthday. Her untimely death was a tragic reminder of the darker side of child stardom.